There is a moment most people never talk about. It happens quietly, usually alone. You look at your life, the plans that collapsed, the relationships that ended, the doors that closed, and you ask yourself one question. Why is this happening to me? Not with anger, not even with sadness anymore, just with a kind of exhausted confusion. You did everything right. You tried. You showed up. And still, things fell apart. Still, the struggle continues. Still, you find yourself exactly where you did not expect to be. But what if I told you that the very things that feel like punishment are actually preparation? What if the pain, the loss, the silence, and the uncertainty are not obstacles placed in your path, but the path itself? Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the most powerful empire on earth while fighting wars, surviving plagues, and enduring betrayal after betrayal, wrote something in his private journal that no one was ever meant to read. He wrote it not as an emperor, but as a man. He said that the universe is change, and that our life is simply what our thoughts make it. He was not talking about positive thinking. He was talking about something far deeper. He was talking about the signs, the invisible signals that something enormous is being built inside you, even when everything outside you is crumbling. There are 5 of these signs, and if you're experiencing even one of them right now, pay very close attention. Because what is happening to you is not punishment, it is preparation. The first sign is this: things that used to matter to you no longer do. Think about that for a moment. There was a time when certain things filled your days, certain people, certain goals, certain pleasures, and then slowly, almost without you noticing, they started to feel empty. You go to the same places, you have the same conversations, but something inside you has quietly moved on, and you cannot explain why. Most people panic when this happens. They think something is wrong with them. They chase the old feelings. They try harder to enjoy what they used to love. But the Stoics understood this feeling deeply. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of the greatest philosophers who ever lived, taught that when the soul is growing, it naturally outgrows its container. What once fit perfectly, beliefs, relationships, ambitions, identities, begins to feel too small, not because those things were bad, but because you have become too large for them. The discomfort you feel is not emptiness, it is expansion, and expansion always feels like loss before it feels like freedom. The second sign is harder to admit. You have been through something that broke you, and you are still not fully healed, not because you're weak, but because what happened to you was real. The loss was real, the betrayal was real, the failure was real, and something in you refuses to pretend it was not. Marcus Aurelius lost children. He watched people he trusted become enemies. He spent years at war, sleeping in military tents, leading men into battle, knowing some would not return. And through all of it, he wrote in his journal not about victory, but about endurance. He wrote about the discipline of continuing, of waking up the next morning and choosing again to be present. The Stoics did not believe that suffering made you stronger automatically. They believed that the way you carried your suffering determined everything. The person who collapses under pain and the person who is forged by it face the exact same fire. What separates them is not circumstance. It is the decision, made quietly, daily, sometimes hourly, to keep going with dignity. If you are still carrying something heavy right now, that is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign that you are in the middle of being forged. The fire is not finished with you yet, and that means the work is not finished either. The third sign is one that will surprise you. People have been leaving your life, and as painful as it felt, you are starting to wonder if it was necessary. Relationships ending, friendships fading, people who were once central to your world now existing only at the edges, and the loneliness of that is real. Do not let anyone minimize it. But underneath the loneliness, if you sit quietly enough, you might notice something else, a kind of clarity, a sense that the version of you those people knew was not fully you. Seneca wrote that we become like the people we spend the most time with. He said this not as a warning, but as a law, as inevitable as gravity. And when you begin to change, truly change, the people who were comfortable with the old version of you will naturally drift. Not because they are bad, not because the love was not real, but because two people walking in genuinely different directions cannot pretend they're walking together forever. The loneliness you feel in this season is the price of becoming. Not everyone can afford to follow you where you're going, and some of the most important relationships of your life are waiting for you on the other side of this transition, with people you have not met yet. The fourth sign, you have started asking questions you cannot answer. Who am I without what I do? What actually matters? Why am I here? And is there a version of my life that actually means something? These questions make most people uncomfortable. They push them away with distractions, with noise, with busyness, with anything that stops the silence from getting too loud. Because in the silence, the questions get bigger, and bigger questions are terrifying. But Marcus Aurelius leaned into the questions. His entire journal, Meditations, is one long record of a man asking himself the hardest questions a human being can face. About meaning, about death, about what it truly means to live with purpose. He did not always have answers. In fact, the most honest thing about Meditations is how often he admits he does not know. How often he has to remind himself of things he keeps forgetting. How often he fails and starts again. The fact that you are asking questions you cannot answer means your mind has grown beyond the answers you used to have. That is not a crisis. That is called wisdom beginning. And wisdom does not arrive with certainty. It arrives with better questions. The fifth sign is the most quiet of all. You have begun to feel that something is coming. You cannot name it. You cannot see it clearly. But somewhere beneath the surface of your daily life, there is a feeling, almost like a low vibration, that something is being built, that what you're going through is not random, that there is a direction to all of this, even if you cannot read the map yet. The Stoics called this the logos, the rational order underlying all things. The idea that the universe is not chaotic, that even what appears broken has a structure, a purpose, a direction. Marcus Aurelius returned to this idea again and again. He wrote that everything which happens does so for a reason, not as an excuse to be passive, but as an invitation to trust the process of becoming. That feeling you have, that quiet certainty beneath all the uncertainty, is not delusion. It is your deepest intelligence speaking. The part of you that has lived through every difficult season of your life and noticed, every single time, that you came through. Changed, scarred perhaps, but through. And something in you knows that this time will be no different. Now here is what nobody tells you about preparation. The people who eventually change the world, or simply change their own world, rarely knew they were being prepared while it was happening. They thought they were failing. They thought they were lost. They thought the story was ending when it was actually beginning. The Roman Empire during Marcus Aurelius' reign was attacked from every side. Plague killed millions. Generals betrayed him. The Senate doubted him. His own son would one day undo much of what he built. And through all of it, Marcus woke up every morning, wrote his thoughts in a private journal, asked himself how to be a better human being that day, and led with everything he had. He did not wait until the circumstances were perfect. He did not wait until the pain was gone. He did not wait until he felt ready. He just kept becoming, one day at a time, in the middle of the fire. You are in the middle of the fire right now. The things leaving your life are making space for what is meant to arrive. The questions you cannot answer are the beginning of a wisdom you have not yet grown into. The pain that will not fully leave is not a wound. It is a scar being formed. And scars are proof that the body chose to heal. The universe does not prepare ordinary people for ordinary lives. The pressure you are under, the weight you're carrying, the silence you're sitting in, these are not punishments handed to you because you are unlucky. They are the specific conditions required to build the specific person you are becoming. Marcus Aurelius wrote one final thing that I want to leave with you. He said that a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Not the ambition for wealth, not for fame, not for comfort. The ambition to become, fully, completely, without apology, exactly who you were always meant to be. That is what is happening to you right now. Not punishment, preparation.